first. I'm really excited because we're doing different things for everybody. But for you, I wanted to do all of my favorite things.
Yay.
When you're building a cheese board, you only want to have about 3 to 5 cheeses. If you have more than that, you're gonna confuse the palate.
Okay.
And so, like people are like, oh, let's do a cheese board, and they have like 20 cheeses. You're doing it wrong.
3 and you're good.
3 to 5.
3 to 5. Okay.
I always say something like a soft cheese, a like hard cheese, and then like a funky one.
Okay.
Right. So what we have here is Fiscalini's cheddar, which it is incredible. Fiscalini's is a small batch creamery.
Okay.
Out of NorCal. And they also have a truffle cheddar, which is incredible. We'll get you some of that too. And then Ragged Point, which is from Stepladder Creamery, which is in Cambria.
Okay.
Which I don't know if you've ever been there.
I have, yeah.
Oh my God. It's just, and they have goats and stuff. Like you can go and check out the farm if you ever wanted to. And it is like the best cheese. You put some honeycomb and some rustic bakery crackers.
Wow.
Awesome. And then we have Gouda, which is just like a good classic.
Okay.
Something easy. So you want something that's like a fan favorite, something that's a little bit creamy. And then this, I'm using the Ragged Point as our funky cheese.
I was wondering which one was. Okay.
And the only reason we call that the funky cheese is because like people are afraid of brie, and it's similar to brie.
Okay.
But
it looks like, yeah, that was in the brie.
Life changing. And then we have Genoa salami, simple. And some prosciutto, and we're gonna get into like how to cut it and all of that stuff. And then we have all of our favorite fruits.
Pretty exciting. And like chocolate.
Yeah, so chocolate is controversial. And so my best friend's mom, when she found out I like started this business, she was like, "This does not belong on a cheese board." I was like, "Look, ma'am, this is not your business.
This is how it's gonna go
And
down."
every time I bring a board, I swear that's the first thing she goes for.
Interesting. Isn't that fascinating?
Yes, Paris.
Just briefly, they are going to join this conversation a few times.
We have fantastic parrots in the background, which is actually kind of crazy because they lost their home to a fire. And then now it's kind of like full circle. So much amazing community has come out of it. And I've created so many relationships that I would have never created elsewhere. And I think even the way that we met was like so serendipitous.
Yeah.
And then the way that it like flowed, because I remember when I first met you too, I was like, oh, I'm never going to see her again.
I know.
Literally.
It's crazy. We were in Pasadena, and so we lost our home, like so many. And so we immediately evacuated to Santa Clarita to stay with my family. But then we wanted to get, when my kids' school opened back up, we wanted to get them back into school, just get them back into some sense of routine and be back around like other people. And we talked to a trauma therapist, and who has really focused on like Hurricane Katrina and like kind of mass casualties, like mass trauma and tragedy, but also on kind of single issues where only one person's home burned down, and they were the only ones in that community. And so their recommendation was like, yes, like being around community, being around any other form of familiarity. And one of the, in this tragedy, one of the best things is that you're not alone. You are around everyone else that is experiencing these crazy whirlwind of emotions and loss and everything that's come with this all together. So we took kids back to school, but we didn't have anywhere to stay. So we would stay in Pasadena for like 8 hours and had nowhere to go. And we would just like work from the car and all the coffee shops and whatever it may be. But I am a big reader, and I lost all my books. I mean, obviously. So then my first stop, I told my husband, I was like, we got to go to Octavia's bookshelf. Like, if I'm going to get a book, my first book is going to be from Octavia's bookshelf. Mm-hmm. And so we go in there, and I'm just kind of looking around. And I even, like, it felt like it was different. It's almost like an escape when we went to Santa Clarita. We were away from everything, but even coming back in the area, you can see still the smoke, the sky, like everything was so different. And it was still very heavy in the community. And then you were in there. And then I started opening up about, hey, this is going to be my first book. And then you're just listening, and you're like, let me get these books. Like, I want to get this book for you. And I'm like, please don't. Like,
Yeah.
like maybe we have them to come. I'm like, don't do this for me. Like, I don't know what your story is. Like, we're all impacted in some way in this area. And you're like, I insist. And then you started telling me about Neighbors and Friends and what you're doing. And you're like, we have products for curly hair. We got products for like black and brown girls. I'm like, okay, wow. Like, this was just meant to be that I would run into you. And when I walked out, like, I'm a pretty strong person. I hadn't really had a release emotionally, but I cried, you know, just that act of kindness, that book from someone that I didn't even know, walking into that moment really, 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 you know, moved me. It was so thoughtful. And it's the same thing. And then I go and follow Neighbors and Friends. I'm like, whoa, like, she's so active. Like, Neighbors and Friends is just like out there, just being a resource, being a tool, giving back. Like, it was so clear from the start, and I was burnt. So thank you.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I think like even in the moment, I was eavesdropping. Because I don't remember who was in Octavia's. I don't remember who was working that day, but I was just like listening, and I was kind of like, should I offer? Should I not? Because I didn't want to like overstep. And I think sometimes when people are going through stuff, it's like, I don't need that from you. And so I was just like, nah, I'm gonna do it. And I think we kind of talked about this a little like earlier, like closed mouths don't get fed. And so just like saying what you need to, kind of like not waiting for your cue and just kind of going for it. And I was like, worst thing that you could say is no. Like, no, I don't want you to. Which you did. And then I continued, was like, you know, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
But I think like even after that, I remember like sitting in my car and, yeah, I think that it was there was a lot of heaviness.
Yeah.
And more so it was like, when I sat in the car and kind of thought about it, I was like, well, hopefully she comes by for hair products and stuff like that. But if she doesn't, it's okay. I'll probably never see her again. And even if she does, I might not be there. Like, there are all these things that I was thinking. And then our stories just kind of started to, like, intertwine. And we did something for the city of Pasadena. Mm-hmm. You were behind the camera for the commercial for the city of Pasadena, and they asked us to be in it. It was
a beautiful piece. Yeah.
A beautiful commercial. You were beyond talented. And I like, even because we had been doing a lot of like PR and stuff like that. Yeah. Just because there'd been a lot of stuff. And even the way that your team worked together, like my whole team was like, oh my God, like this is like fancy. Like even this like setup right here, I'm like, oh, this feels so professional. But like, this is like your norm. Like there was cameras, multiple, like there's lighting, there's like all this stuff, and we were not used to it. And my team was like, they felt so like, this is for us, we're so professional. Like
your team did their thing too. I mean, that coffee was being poured, that cheeseburger was getting set, like it was beautiful.
So first I'm going to teach you how to kiwi flower. So when we are doing this, I feel like this is really simple. People make it way harder than it needs to be. Okay. So you're gonna hold the top and the bottom just like this. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna go a little more than halfway through at a 45-degree angle. I don't know. I don't math that often. Mm-hmm. And then you're gonna pull out. 45. Okay. And then you're gonna move over about a centimeter, and you're gonna do the exact same thing. Okay. And you're gonna do that all the way around. This lighting is fantastic. When I do classes, lighting is not like this. You don't even see the holes.
Got a good little light guidance here.
So you're gonna go a little more than halfway through all the way around. And then now you're gonna take your knife, you're gonna go the opposite direction, and you're gonna connect the lines. Okay. And then you're gonna go all the way around.
Oddly satisfying.
We have like competitions in the shop to who can do it the quickest.
I can see that.
And then when you open it, you're gonna get something like that.
Just splitting it in half?
You just pull it apart. There you go. Boom.
Beautiful. I started filmmaking, or I had my dream of starting film. I was like 16 years old. But that built from my family. Looking back at my grandparents, my grandfather battled heroin addiction for many, many years. He was very open and very vocal about this because he found a way to get past that, and a lot of his friends just didn't. My grandmother, the same thing. She married into that lifestyle with him. She wasn't aware, but he was an addict, and she also had her own demons that she was facing. Kind of moving ahead, they ended up opening a home in Pasadena. So my grandparents came up in East LA. My mom was raised there, and one of my oldest aunts. And when they came to Pasadena, they opened this home to just try to help people like them. And they knew they found a way when there was no resources and really no empathy of how can we escape this lifestyle, but we found a way, and we want to help other people do that. They would go into like juvenile halls, prisons, in different areas where they had a program, and it was more of like a middle ground. So if you weren't going to go right back home and you really, really wanted to change your life, you had the chance you can go to this house that they had in Pasadena. My dad was one of those people. And so my dad grew up in Hawaiian Gardens, which is kind of an area that just, I don't know how it is right now, but at the time when he was coming up, it was pretty intense. There was just a lot of gang activity. He was in a gang from like 9 years old upwards, which is crazy. Because I have a 9-year-old son.
You do.
Yeah, right. And can you imagine like some of the things that my dad shares just so casually? I'm like, wait,
no,
like putting
my
it in the
son
context.
Is not tough at all.
No, my son, he can't watch Nightmare Before Christmas yet. He's still like kind of aware of it. It could be too scary.
Yeah, my son's like, we can't watch things with zombies.
Yeah, he's not playing with that stuff. So, just talk about like two different worlds, right? And so how that leads into film for me is like, I look at my grandparents, I look at my mom and dad, and I look at what they came up from. And to me, it would be a disservice to them to not fight for my dreams, because they fought so hard to just be in a position that I could have the privilege to even dream. And so I loved my grandparents' story. And that became my first feature film that I wrote. It wasn't produced. It's still something that in my lifetime I want to make, but it's a period piece. If we talk to other filmmakers, it's a period piece in the 60s. It's extremely expensive to make. Like my younger Felicia didn't know that. Ignorance is bliss. So I was like, yeah, let's do this. So, I did get the project off the ground. I got it optioned, and there was some really exciting progression with that. But I also learned, I'm like, filmmaking is putting a lot of your power in other people's hands. Like you kind of have to somehow, it's so big, like it's way bigger than you at some point. So you have to pass it forward. That part didn't always sit well with me, because I didn't know how I could get somebody to care about what my dream is more than myself. And so I started asking questions about how can I make a living doing this? Like there's got to be a way that I don't have to just get another job, because I had a lot of jobs. We talked about this. Like I worked in retail, and I was an intern with different groups, and I worked a lot with people. And I want to ask you a lot of questions about this, because I know you have a lot of stories too. And so there's so many aspects to things, but with film, I'm like, I got to find a way to make a living. And it wasn't obvious to me at all to think like I could get behind the camera and like capture people's stories. And that's how I started. I started by picking up a camera, calling a bunch of businesses and saying like, hey, I'm in film, I'm a storyteller, I'd love to film you for free. If you like it, you can use it. If you don't, like I just want to put it in a private portfolio. And enough people said yes. And I was like the gaffer, the grip, the mixer. I mean, I did everything. And that was like my first portfolio and body of work. And then that led to like a paid job. Then that led to a paid music video. Then that led to a commercial. And I honestly like have not stopped working since that point. And there's a lot of in between of that. And there was a lot of scary moments in between that. But somehow it's like, it's worked out. So I feel that I jumped into film because I want to tell stories about broken people, that there is hope and beauty and life on the other side of that. And I've pulled fully from like my family's history and what I've seen them experience. I think it was so raw and so real. And I wanted to just like tap into that. That's all. There's always going to be some level of beauty and brokenness in the stories and the characters that I'm drawn to. Yeah.
That's incredible. But also, I just like want to say, when I worked with you, watching you be able to, like, you had your hand in everything. And I was just like, because I know how hard my job is and I have to know all of the little parts. Yeah. It's so refreshing seeing somebody who like knows all of the parts. And it's really interesting. I'm not trying to throw shade on other people, but it's interesting working with different entrepreneurs, right? Because you know the people who have like, they've had the stories. Like it's been tough because they had to learn how to do all of it. And the people who they've had things handed to them. And it's like, literally you can see it in the way that people work and the way that they move and the way that they're talking to people and how they're being intentional, how they're paying attention to like time management, things like that. Yeah. And so like watching you, I remember just being like, this is a bad bitch right here. Like, and I think like those are like the moments where you're really, it really just like remind you how hard this really is.
Yeah.
And that you're not alone, because I think that's like one of the things. There's so many days where I like at the end of the day, I'll sit in my car and just cry because I'm like, I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I don't know where payroll is going to come from. I don't know how we're going to pay for rent. Like we're trying to figure out all of these things. And then I got to pick up my kids and I can't look like this. Right.
Yeah.
Because then they're going to be like, Mom, what's wrong? Right, and like my kids are so interested. Yeah. And they're so interested. And like,
love that.
Yeah. My son had like a whole breakdown because I was sick last week. And he was like, I've just had a really hard week. My mom's sick.
Oh.
They had lice last week. We have lice. And I'm like, and also like growing up Black, we didn't get lice. So like I got these little white kids with lice, but I also learned that Black people do get lice. But there was like a whole like thing. I was just like, we're not supposed to. But anyways, I think those are like the things where it's like you kind of like remind yourself of like, this shit is hard. Yeah. It's really hard. And it's really hard to have, even though you know what your purpose is, it's really hard sometimes to be like, it's worth it. Right. Because there are times where I'm just like, is this worth it? Like, is it worth all of the things? And I think, like you said, with family, like there's so much, I know for me, I came from, there was a lot of trauma. There's a lot of things that like come up. And I feel like entrepreneurship highlights every point of trauma you've ever had.
It'll extract it all out of you.
So much.
At some point, that's going to be like lit up within you. Yeah, yeah.
And I think, but it's also a reminder, like, I don't want to push that onto my kids, right? Yeah. So through entrepreneurship, how do I also make sure that my kids aren't feeling this? And I think that's one of the main things that comes up for me is like, my dad wasn't around, right? So I have like a trauma of people leaving, of not like being there, of them saying they're going to come and then them not coming. And so I'm so like, when it comes to my kids' stuff, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Wow, yeah. But then as an entrepreneur, there are times where it's like, literally the shop is burning down. And like, how am I going to like take care of that while also dealing
honoring
with
your
that?
Word with your family. Yeah.
Then with this, like the goal is to create a lot of different textures. So then with just the orange or the mandarin or tangerine, I don't know what this is. I want to say it's a mandarin. And then you're just going to cut it in half, just like that.
Okay, got it.
And then you have different texture. That's the goal that you're looking for. And then we're going to do the same thing with our strawberries. We're just going to cut them in half.
Should I be putting my things on this plate?
Eventually we will.
Oh, okay, got you.
But we're mise en placing right now. We're being fancy. That basically means to get all your stuff in place. Okay. That's what mise en place means. Okay. And so you do it a lot when you're prepping or you're in a kitchen. Gotcha. And so that's like the goal. You do it that way, put the stuff to the side, you get everything ready, and then we put it together. And then it takes like 5 minutes to put together once we have everything. Nice. So then next we're gonna go over to our cheese, which some of the cheese it looks like our team already cut for us.
I'm not mad at that.
They love us. So these are already cut into little like triangles. Okay. So when you get cheese, it's gonna be like Gouda, sometimes it's gonna be in a block like this. And so then you just need to cut it so you get these perfect little triangles. Okay, just slicing. Just slicing it. You can use like a fork as a guide too. Okay. If you want things to be straight. We have a machine that does this for us. So we have that already good to go. Then with our cheese, our cheddar, we're just gonna take it and we're just gonna break it up. So you could totally cut this into cubes, but if you make it look rustic, for some reason it makes it more elevated. Okay. It allows us to charge more.
Business tip.
So
just break this up?
Just breaking it up into cubes, just like that. Okay. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy. Just like that. If I cut it into cubes, then I gotta charge like $10 less. So.
There's times where the work hits and it's like I can't even look left or right. And those moments are like at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, I'm so like carrying that weight of just I wasn't present for them. But then I have to flip the switch where I'm like, my parents, drove to like way deep in LA to work every day and hours home, and the amount of time that my kids can see me also, like I just have to find the grace for myself. And I love talking with other moms, and I love talking with other working moms, because there's so much familiarity and like the real like struggles that I can just like feel like another mom is like, wait, it's so much nicer to me than I might be to myself, you know, for like
I think we're hard on ourselves.
You're hard on ourselves. Like sometimes we're like too hard on ourselves, until I find out that it's like the fact that I'm going after certain things and fighting for certain things and certain projects, and I can bring my kids onto a production. I can even cast them into and get them in a seat if they're into it. And that part, I can see it. Like they're so hyped. Like they love to see what I do. And I have to trace back to my dad worked like a lot, and he drove really far. He used to drive trucks, and he would wake up at 5 a.m. I remember seeing like that little light click on when I was a little girl, and then he would be gone like all day. But I never felt like there was a lack of my dad's presence. And my dad was also a pastor, and that was a lot of involvement with like a lot of people, which made me very like possessive of his time. Like I didn't like, other people would get close and they want to call him dad, and I'm like no, like that's weird. That's my dad. Like it's not your dad. Go find a dad. Like, but not this one. Don't find this dad. That's my dad. I just wasn't like very generous with that.
Daddy.
Yeah, like no, not here. And so I remember feeling very possessive of his time, but I never felt like he wasn't involved. And now that I trace back and I'm an adult and I talk to my mom, and I'm like, oh, like he was actually like on the go a lot. So kids are so much more graceful than I think than we realize if we can just give like a little time with them. And I'm still figuring it out. You know, you roll with it
every day.
Yeah.
I think I'm definitely hard on myself when it comes to like my kids and making sure that I have time with them.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot better about being intentional. Like in the morning, we walk to school. That is like our time. I hate walking. Like I don't even know how to explain how much I hate walking. Yeah. I'm not a fan. But I know that it's good for me and it's good for them. And so that's why we make that time. Exactly. But I think like even, you know, we talked about this earlier, Mr. Whatever his name is. We're not gonna call him out.
He'll remain unnamed.
But
for
my
now.
kids, like, you know, my kid's teacher wanted him he's doing a book report, and it's only 2 to 3 minutes. But they want the parents to be there.
It's a wild request, Kaiy.
It's a wild request.
That's intense, yeah.
But like you said, like we have the privilege of being like, okay, I can go for 5 minutes and watch my kid tell me about The Boy Called Bat. Yeah. Shout out to Elena Arnold for writing that book. We know a lot about it now. But I think like those are like, I didn't have that privilege when I was younger.
Right. No,
my mom was a single parent. There was no way she was coming to my book report and watch. She would have been like, you are crazy. And I think like those little things too, that's like a privilege of also being an entrepreneur and being able to move my schedule around to go watch his book report.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
And it's crazy because it's like, how do you, I don't believe in balance. Like I
agree with you.
I literally had like this moment where I was talking to somebody. I was like, I'm unbalanced and unbothered. Like,
I love that. Yeah.
And that's like my new like thing of like today on Unbalanced and Unbothered as my kids are like screaming through the house.
Right.
I think there's no way to really balance it, but there's some integration, but they're constantly teaching me the importance of like, why do I do the things that I do? And I think I get asked that all the time, like, what's your why? Yeah. And I'm like, it's so deep. You want me to like give you like an elevator pitch?
It's hard to summarize that.
For like what my why is. I gotta make money.
So that's like, a big why.
First and foremost, like I gotta make money. Yeah. I want to not hate my life. Like I don't want to hate going to work every day.
Right.
And also like I want my kids to like watch their mom like not only be successful but like enjoy what they do. Yeah. Because I remember growing up, my mom hated work. She hated it. She hated like everything about it. Yeah. And I was just like, life's too short to be this unhappy. Yeah. And like my mom has like, she's the best at pretending, you know? And so, but it's like, your kids know. Like,
they know.
Your kids know.
They know. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I don't want that. Yeah. I like, even the cafe, my mom's dream was to have a cafe. So people are like, oh, okay. Like, how does it feel having like a cafe, your dream? this shit was not my dream. It was her dream.
Interesting.
And so for me, it's like, it's so exciting now watching, because she's a part of it. I get to watch her. She's so much happier than she's ever been. She's also so much tired than she's ever been.
Yeah.
Because running a cafe is not easy.
Yeah.
But I think those are like the moments where it's like, I thought my purpose was my kids. And then like I'm kind of coming back, and it's like, maybe she was my purpose.
Wow.
Like, and it's like just that like moment of like, damn, like, it's a realization that you just didn't even think of.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like what our parents have poured into us, and that somehow like comes out again. I think a lot. I love that with the story about your mom. Like my mom, she worked, but then at a certain point, she stopped working, and she was a full-time mom. And then now that I'm working, and I'm like, I think about that, and sometimes I'm like, wow, like what am I choosing? Because I just feel like my parents poured so much into me, and they like really supported me. There was a point where it's like a whole long story, but I was gonna have to drop out of college. I just could not pay it. I could not pay it. There was a certain class they signed me up for. It was like $1,500. I didn't have that money at that time in my life when I was really young, and they like locked me out of the whole like Cal State system. It was very dramatic. I could not go to school. So then I told them, I was like, I think I'm just gonna like go all in on film. I'm gonna figure it out. And they were like, go, and that's so rare because they just knew my particular personality. I mean, they tell me now, they're like, Felicia, you said you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it. Like you were the one that were like, just whatever you say you're gonna do, you're probably gonna do. So just go. But I think about my mom, like how she was a full-time mom, and I'm like, I'm a working mom. And I turned out like in the product that I am because my mom was there, like a constant presence for me. And then I debate, I'm like, am I there for I gotta make sure like I'm there for my kids when my mom was there for me. And I think I'm doing okay. I had to bring them in the room and let them tell, say their part of the story. But you find a way, and there actually is more flexibility. Like there's really, really hard days, but I also have like open days too. And during those open times in my life, like I have to go all in with my kids. Like nothing can touch that. And I hope what I'm doing, that they see it, and I want to see my kids go after their dreams. Like that would really, really fulfill me. I don't need them to like carry on the business. My husband has a creative agency, and I don't really need to see them like tap into like filmmaking or creative or whatever it may be. I just want them to like go after whatever it is that they want to do. That would be like my proudest moment, is that they say they want to do something and they have the opportunity and the access to like fully do it.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's so interesting because like how you were saying like your parents were, when you were like, I want to go in all in film, and you get a lot of parents who are like, no, that's not the smart decision. Yeah. I feel the same way with like my mom. I had just taken the LSAT, and I just like finished. I applied to schools, and I went on a date with my husband. It's like our third date or something. He was like, why do you want to be an attorney? I was like, I don't. I hate reading. He's like, what the? Like, why are you doing this? Yeah. And I'm like, he's like, what do you want to do? I was like, drink wine and eat cheese. And he was like, well, can you like do that? And I remember calling my mom being like, I don't think I want to go to law school. And she was like, okay.
Wow.
And I like, just like my mom said the same thing. Whatever you put your mind to, you'll do. Right.
Yeah.
And I think like my mom didn't have it easy growing up either. Right. And so I think when you come from, like, she knows how hard it can be. Right. Yeah. And so she's like, you're already like 10 steps ahead of where I was. Wow. Right. And so then she's like, let's put the eggs all in like that basket. And I feel like my mom poured so much into me and my sister. And so I think the whole cafe thing was never anything I really wanted. I like tried to tell myself it was my dream. Yeah. But there's so many days that I'm in there, I'm like, this is definitely not my dream. But it's hers.
What is the side of you that does, like, what's the part that you love? Is it the business side of things? Is it the building? Is it like
I love taking care of people.
Tapping into the nurturing side of like, and you are such a resource for like community, and you're so low key about it, by the way. Like I can tell, I could just read it from you. I'm like, Kay doesn't need all the celebratory stuff. Like you don't need a bunch. I don't know. I could be wrong. But no, like I got that from you like very quickly. I'm like, I don't think she needs like to hear you're like, this is amazing what you're doing. Like, thank you so much. Like you're just there to execute, do your part, but that's such a spirit of generosity. So it is. It's like that. Yeah. So what is it for you? It's
I think I like back. Taking care of people. I think one thing that I learned from my mom, from my grandma, from my great grandma was if you can give to your community, you should. And there's no reason not to, right? And I watched them from a very young age giving everything to the community. And I think that I learned a lot from that too, because they would give their shirt off their back for anybody. And everybody's like, oh, that's such a great thing. And I remember growing up resentful and being like, but it isn't though. Cause like you're taking your shirt off and giving it to somebody and we're unclothed, right? And having those moments of like, we don't know what we're going to eat, but my mom's making sure that other people are fed. And I think I went to a private school because my grandma worked at the church. So I think that people had this like belief that like, oh, she's got money. Like she has it like that. We didn't have it like that at all. And there were a lot of like days where like we ate chicken and rice all the time. That probably the reason I know how to cook is because I was so over chicken and rice.
You had to find some other alternative. Like,
and I think like ultimately like I believe in like I want to take care of people, but I think that there's a way to not only take care of people but build generational wealth while doing it. And so I've like at this point I'm like, look, y'all are crazy. I love that you pour everything into it, but my mom and my grandma are like watching this and they're just like, how are you doing it this way? You know, like this, how is this a part of a business model? And I'm like, you guys did it just as service. And that was fantastic. It was beautiful. And I learned so much from that. But I also watched you run yourself dry. I watched you not take care of yourself. I watched you like be tired to the point that like you couldn't like take care of me. Right. I don't want that for my kids. And so learning that like there's ways to do things differently is the most important thing.
100% there's ways. You had me at drop off your kids.
Well, you drop off your kids and then you can have date night with like your husband while they're, I think it's the thing of like motherhood, right? So the whole point around it was like, I want something where my kids are getting nurtured while I'm getting nurtured.
Yes, this is why I love when women start businesses, because there's always a generosity in the creation of thinking of the whole family unit. I was talking about my husband with this, where I'm like, when the guys get together, they don't seem to consider the kids. They go in like isolation. But when women get together, we're bringing our families. And so, you know, I was like, you got to change the culture, like with the boys, right? Like bring the kids too. Like it's okay.
So this we're not doing anything.
All right, so I straighten
cutting it, straightening it off. We're gonna throw a bunch of honeycomb on top of that.
Okay, beautiful.
But yeah, that was like the whole point. Like I was talking to one of my friends and was like, wouldn't it be awesome if we could just like hang out and like drink while our kids were like playing? And then they made dinner while they did it. And like literally this is the whole conversation. And then I was like, wait, what if we could do that? And then we got a call like literally like 2 days later about this space.
I mean, meant to be.
So I was like, it's happening. Yes. The first cheese board class I ever did, I charged $25 for a board this size. $25.
It's a steal.
No, it is a steal because the product on the board alone
exactly.
is more than $25.
Yep. It's funny when you think about first starts. I remember what I used to charge for video. Ooh. Oh my gosh, right? How did I survive? And I would hire someone. Those are fun days.
Somebody asked me the other day, I was on somebody else's podcast, and they were like, what's the wildest thing a client has ever done? And I was like, I don't really have wild clients. I mean, I've had wild things that I probably wouldn't talk about.
Next podcast.
But I was like, I really, like literally, I think like say that the board I made was theirs. Like I've had somebody, but like, it's one thing to take the board that I made and be like, I made this for like my husband. Like this girl took my board, took all of the things off of the board, like the pieces of it, put it on another board, and then posted it on, I guess, her business page. Oh, wow. And I was like, look, ho.
Yeah, no,
we ain't gonna do this.
That's crazy.
I don't even know if that's like, we can call people hoes on here.
Oh, it's happening. It's happening. That's whole territory. Did you take my board and make it your own?
Ho.
Double down. Double down. That's like, that's wild. That's like seeing my footage of someone's reel. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, and I was just like, and she didn't give me any credit.
Oh no, that's
zero credit.
That's some wild activity there.
Right? So
unhinged behavior.
Unhinged. So now we have all of the pieces, and now we're just gonna start building.
Okay.
So I always say we use our cheese as like our guide. And I'm like, just kind of
It's the foundational piece here.
laying the pieces. And then we're gonna do our cheddar now.
Okay.
So we're gonna do the cheddar in 2 places. I get all of the main things on first.
Okay.
Right? So we want the cheese, we want the meat, we want all of that good stuff.
Nice. What's your favorite cheese? It's a hard question.
This one right here.
This one.
This one. This one.
The fun one.
Just with like, I'm gonna sit down with that and honeycomb.
I love the honeycomb.
And just a spoon.
Just have a good day.
All right. And then now we're just gonna kind of start filling the holes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do raspberries in a few different places. I like my fruit all over the place.
Okay.
Not too much of it, just enough. I always feel like you need a little bit of garnish on things.
Mm-hmm.
So we always put English mustard on top of our cornichons.
The best.
And then the most important thing is honeycomb. And I believe that like you can never have too much honeycomb.
I second that.
So we're gonna be extra. Look at that.
So pretty.
Nope.
I don't know
Get
if it's your
off.
protocol. Yeah.
I'm like, it's your board. So
You're right. Okay.
it's all yours.
Oh, then it's freedom. Let's see here.
I'm like, you don't have to wear gloves at home. Just wash your hands.
Pretty.
And then the very last, we're gonna leave the toffee on the side too because clearly it's not gonna fit.
Oh, it's layered.
It's definitely layered. So now we're just gonna kind of stick it in the holes because you know there's so many of those in here.
There's so many. Where to find?
I feel like I can always find a few. And then we'll throw the flowers on top. Always go extra on the flowers. And we have like a grower who grows flowers just for us.
Wow. So you hand select all these things.
All of them.
Yep.
Spent a lot of time on sourcing. And then you have this beautiful
It's gorgeous.
board. Voila.